But we begin, as we always do, with the news, and again tonight it starts in Afghanistan, where part of the mission today for Canadian soldiers was to send 3 of their friends and fellow soldiers home. Soldiers carried the coffins of Sergeant Christos Karagianis, Corporal Stephen Buzan, and Private Joel Weed to a waiting Hercules aircraft. The 3 were killed yesterday when the open vehicle they were traveling in hit a roadside bomb.
We are thankful for these 3 friends who were near and dear to those gathered here and who now have laid down their lives. We are thankful for the friendship they gave, for the strength and peace they brought.
Each death of a Canadian in Afghanistan prompts reflection on the mission. Today, a high-powered appeal to Canada to carry on amid mounting evidence that this country is carrying a disproportionate amount of the burden. Susan Bonner reports.
NATO's Secretary General has come calling with a simple pitch for why Canada should stay in Afghanistan beyond 2009. The world needs you.
And I know how dramatic it is if Canadian soldiers pay the highest price, but I still say you are there for a good cause. You are there to defend basic, universal values.
The highest price, the death of soldiers, is mounting proportionately higher for Canada than most of the 37 countries allied against the Taliban in Afghanistan. In the year and a half since Canada deployed in a combat role in the south, the death toll has shot up. Out of roughly 2,200 soldiers, 52 have died. In that same period, the U.S. has lost 146 soldiers. But that from a country with a population 10 times the size of this one and 7 times as many soldiers deployed.
Now you see that the ratio between the United States and non-American countries is about 1 to 1.
Stephen Staples has produced a study analyzing the burden borne by all countries in Afghanistan. He predicts Canada's heavy load will grow.
In terms of the number of casualties, also the number of incidents of roadside bombs and other attacks, suicide bombers, all of the trends are going upward in the wrong direction. And so I think that we're looking at a lot more deaths.
Canada's burden looks even greater when you remove the U.S. from the equation and compare Canada to its other NATO partners. At 60, Canadian soldiers account for almost 1 in 3 Allied deaths.
Are the Canadians willing to carry on carrying this disproportionately high burden? Or is the political situation in Canada such that there will be such overwhelming pressure on the government that they will have to go to NATO and say, look, we need someone else to come to the south?
This whole debate about whether or not we are in fact bearing too high of a price really misses the point.
This military expert says the fight is necessary and the job needs to be finished despite the painful price.
It's going to be high, it will be high for a long time, but to grumble that others are getting a free ride simply doesn't deal with the real crux of what we have to ask, is how do we ensure that the terrorists and the associates, such as the Taliban, are in fact stopped.
Canada has a history of paying more than its fair share in both the First and Second World Wars. That point was made today again by the NATO chief as part of his case for why Canada should extend its mission with or without more partners in the South. Susan Bonner, CBC News, Ottawa.